What is up, YouTube? It's Lex again, and I am back with another obscure gem here. This is one of my favorite game series of all time. You might not have even heard of it. It's called Katamari Damacy. Or, in fact, this is the sequel called We Love Katamari. These are a couple of obscure Japanese games that got ported to PlayStation 2. And recently they were, remastered and re-released for modern platforms. So you're not going to grab them on PlayStation 2, right? You're going to grab them on Steam, or maybe you could get it on Switch. I'm not sure if it's on Xbox. It's got to be on PlayStation. It's one of the most unique games you are ever going to play, and it has an art and style and soundtrack to it that is just, well, it's very different. As someone who was, my college roommate was somewhat of an aggressive Japanophile, and I got a little tired of some of the, let's say, pieces of culture he became very attached to. So when I was first exposed to this game, I was not inclined to like it, as a matter of course. But it is honestly just an amazing game. Everybody should try this. Your mom can play it, your girlfriend, your kid, anyone can play this game. It's extremely simple to learn, extremely simple controls, extremely difficult to master. This here is the menu. As you progress, this is a fresh save file because I just purchased this, but as you progress through the game, more and more people will fill these areas up, and they will give you access to stages as well as other items. We'll go ahead and enter the first stage here. Now, much of the dialogue and story in this game is essentially nonsensical. You've got a general plot that involves the king having accidentally blown up the sky and you having to roll up objects to replace the stars in the sky. Each Katamari, the Katamari is your ball. Your goal is to roll up items into your ball as large as possible within the time limit. And the larger you create a ball of items, the larger the star that you create, and that kind of determines your rating on the stage, right? So it's essentially a time attack game where you have a countdown timer, and when that timer runs out, if you're not a minimum size in meters from absorbing other items, then you lose. Now, you can only absorb items that are within a certain percentage of your size. So when you're small, you can only pick up small items, and as you get larger, you can pick up larger things. That's pretty much the whole thing. And it sounds simple, but when you take that concept to its extreme end, you end up with the ability to start out rolling up thumbtacks, and that stage can end with you rolling up office buildings, which is actually how the final stage of the original game plays out. You start out in that game rolling up small items in the bedroom of the house, right? And, you end the game by rolling up the entire office building district, and in fact, like the entire world. You even roll up mountains and volcanoes, and this is very strange the way they've got the controls set up. Okay. Quite a bit different from... See, on PlayStation you played this with 2 analog sticks, right? That makes sense, right? So you would push forward on both analog sticks, and that would give you forward momentum. And if you only push forward on one, you would turn one way or the other. So it essentially worked like each analog stick was one of your character's arms, right? You could pull back on one analog stick and push forward on the other and turn very quickly. That's what I'm doing here when you see me turning abruptly. I'm just holding forward on one while I change direction on the other. It's quite unusual adapting to playing on the keyboard. So to climb over things, you just insist on running into them over and over again. Now, larger objects will just bump you away if you're too small, unless they're moving, in which they can actively kind of mess with you. They can knock you around and hit you with stuff. So to complete the tutorial, we just have to get large enough to roll up our friend here. Oh, there he is. That's called a cousin. You collect the... I think it's a cousin. You collect all the cousins, which are basically like character avatars that you can play as. Obviously, that stage was just a tutorial that they kind of force you to go through on your first playthrough, just to give you the controls. It's nice. The as soon as you perform the correct action, it ticks on your list. Makes it quite easy. There's the cousin we collected, so now we can play as him. It'll tell you the size you made it to, and how many objects you collected, and what type of objects those were. And then there's quite a bit of nonsensical back and forth. Ultimately, in every stage, the protagonist who asked for your help, in this case the child, will give you back the Katamari you made for him, and the king will throw it into the sky to replace the stars. It'll keep track of your record, and it will actually put it in the sky in your game. And if you get to a certain size, you'll get a bonus star, signifying that you, like, sort of 100%ed the level. So see, this girl wasn't here, but actually here's Ace, and we can change to playing as him, so sure, why not. This girl was not here before, so we're going to go ahead and talk to her, and I think we're going to do Katamari on the rocks, because I don't think I like the Baby Universe. The soundtrack is... got really high highs and kind of low lows. There are a couple songs I find quite annoying. Overall, it is quite good. I would say there are quite a number of bangers on it that I, throw on my playlist outside the game, quite frankly. So I recommend, paying attention to the soundtrack as you play, find the tracks you like and dislike, and, you can move him during the loading screen, just WSAD. And, find the tracks you like so that you know which ones to put when you're playing the game. So the first stage always starts out with you extremely small, and you're in somewhere like a house. Here we have to get to 15 centimeters, and our time limit's 3 minutes. So, let's see. We are getting used to... we are getting used to the controls. It's a little funky. See, I've played quite a bit of Katamari, but I've never played it on... a computer, which is, we're playing this on Steam, and it's quite strange using WSIK. I don't think I've played a game that I had to use that. I wonder, how do I do the quick jump? There's a move where you can quickly just jump, do 180, and I'd say it was pretty important in the console version. Okay, good. We're big enough to pick up batteries. We're not big enough to pick up the tape dispenser. So, now objects that are moving are harder to pick up. Now, what does harder to pick up mean, other than duh, they're moving? It means you have to be a bigger size relative to them, right? You can kind of think of moving objects like enemies a little bit. They will knock you around. And when they knock you around, if they're too big for you, they'll knock you around. And when they knock you around, you will lose items that you've picked up. So you can actually get smaller. So really this game combines a lot of different skills. I wouldn't say Twitch skill is among the biggest ones. Actually controlling the ball is not that hard to get the hang of. does exercise a bunch of other different skills you've got. Okay, so now we've reached our 15 centimeter goal and we have 2 minutes left. We're allowed to just keep going to go for the record, and again to try to get like 100% rank for... Oh, there's a cousin. Okay, we got him. So now if we finish with him in our Katamari, then we can select him to play with. If we get knocked around and he falls out, then we cannot. We have to pick him back up. There's also one hidden present in each stage, and finding it will give you an accessory to equip your, cousin or prince with. That alarm is telling us we have 20 seconds left. If there's anything left for us to pick up that we really want to get, now's the time. Now, most stages will have phases. There will be like an area that says, like let's say you start at 10 centimeters. There might be a barricade of cones that says 30 centimeters on it. And once you're 30 centimeters, you can pick up the cones and move through to the next area, right? So, and then there'll be a second area of the stage with larger items for your now larger self to pick up. So yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about the game. From here, it's just a matter of, getting used to the controls and having fun with it. It's surprisingly addicting, rolling around picking stuff up. You really don't think it's going to be as fun as it is until you try it. And it's very satisfying to master and better your times. And then when you get really good, you'll start to memorize areas of stages that have the most space-efficient items for you to roll up. When I was really pretty into the game, I would have a plan for any stage that went something like, okay, collect these, push pins until I'm 15 centimeters, then move to the garbage bags and grab them to be 20 centimeters, and you can really game theory it out. And the Twitch skill requirements are fairly low, so it can be fun for everyone to play with. Particularly with a joystick or with a controller, you just use the 2 analog sticks, that's it. Left one and right one are your 2 arms, and you push them both forward to go forward, you push them both back to go back. It works great. I would definitely recommend the controller scheme for any beginners. Some of the later stages are awesome. They are not just roll up items to get larger. There's a memorable stage where you're rolling up fireflies to collect a certain number. There's another memorable stage where you're underwater in a lake and you have to pick up undersea items to get large enough to try to roll up the whole lake. There's the cutscenes have so much charm, and they're completely nonsensical, as we'll no doubt see right here. Just everything about this game is an experience, and it's just a pure enjoyment type of game. You're not metagaming stats, there's no ranking, there's no PvP. This is just sit back and enjoy gaming for the sake of its own joy, really. So, I highly recommend it. You can pick it up now on modern platforms, and if you just need something to tide you over, a little bit of uplifting fun, I strongly recommend it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll check you next time.